Well, let's bring in Laura Blumenfeld, who previously served as Senior Policy Advisor on the US State Department's Israel-Palestinian negotiating team. Hello to you. In terms of where you see this going, do you get the feeling that all-out war is inevitable?
There is a sense of inevitability. It's almost like that ancient fable, appointment with death. As much as we've tried to avoid a regional war over the last 10 months, and that's certainly been a #1 priority for the United States, we seem to be getting closer and closer.
What can be done? What can the US say in particular do, and President Biden, in the time he has left in office, do you think?
Well, we would need to do something fast because United States officials are saying that it could come as soon as this Monday, the retaliation, and that it'll be bigger, broader, and less predictable than the last time. But I do see 3 potential routes for de-escalation. Look, the first is diplomacy. That's our best shot. On the other hand, trust, which is the currency of diplomacy, according to Henry Kissinger, has been broken. Apparently, Iran and Hezbollah are no longer willing to work with neither United States or other Western diplomats as intermediaries because they felt like they were duped when there was that strike by Israel on a Hezbollah commander. The second possibility is simply to rewrite reality. That worked back in April when Israel struck at Iran. Iran responded by saying, strike what strike? So sometimes it's the story war that is even more important than the battlefield. The third thing is, if you look back at sort of June of 1967, it's the idea of escalation to de-escalate, where Israel launched a massive preemptive strike. That's certainly an option out there. I'm not optimistic. Look, for Hezbollah and Hamas, there is no other cheek to turn, right? There were these twin strikes, and so it feels like they simply must respond to take the sting out of that humiliation. And as for Netanyahu, I think he's trying to send a message not only to Iran, message received, but also to Saudi Arabia. He's looking for a broader coalition. He wants to ally himself with the Arab states. And as he says, countries don't make treaties with the weak.
Well, and in terms of the weapons capability of Hezbollah, in terms of how that compares to Hamas, it's significantly stronger, isn't it?
Absolutely. Hezbollah is no Hamas. In fact, the Israeli military planners call a war with Hezbollah 10x because they say it would be 10 times as intense as any war with Hamas. This is the scenario that they've been laying awake at night with night sweats for Israeli military planners. On the other hand, they had no plan on the shelf. They had no battle plan for Gaza. That was part of the problem. They've been running scenarios and drills for years now against Hezbollah. So, who knows what they have up their sleeve. And like I said, they could even be looking at something preemptively.
And what about Benjamin Netanyahu? There is this criticism of him that some are saying that he doesn't even want a ceasefire because it doesn't suit him politically in terms of his ability to stay in office. And do you sense any sort of move against him among his allies at all?
Look, internally in Israel, absolutely. And even with his key ally, President Biden, it's a fundamental disagreement. It's a philosophical approach about how you approach an enemy. President Biden had a tough phone call with Netanyahu this week. He basically said, the payback buffet is closed. Your plate is full. Make a deal now, sign a ceasefire. And Netanyahu's attitude is, you don't capitulate, you decapitate your enemy. I do believe he is about, preserving power politically, but he also believes his own rhetoric. For him, it's always been about Iran, and this is his final chance, or this is his ultimate chance, I think he sees, to kind of reestablish deterrence and go right, as they call, to the head of the snake, which would be the Ayatollah and Iran.
OK, well, thank you so much for talking to us. Really appreciate it. That's Laura Blumenthal there, Middle East analyst. Thank you.